Buckingham Palace has said King Charles spent a short period of time in hospital today.
King Charles stepped back from royal duties for a few months last year while receiving treatment for the cancer.
The British monarchy is shaking like never before. Behind palace walls that have stood for centuries, unexpected events are unfolding at breakneck speed. What began as a routine day of royal duties quickly spiraled into a crisis no one anticipated. With the palace maintaining strict silence, speculation has exploded worldwide. Is this the beginning of a royal reckoning? And what does it mean for the future of the monarchy itself? Join us as we reveal how shocking decisions by King Charles and Prince William led to the stripping of royal privileges. The shock that shook the royal family. It came as a surprise to William when he was suddenly summoned to see the king. Seeing his father is natural, but this time it was obvious that something was different. To add to that mystery, the summon came at night. William most likely could already tell what the news was, but he'd rather not believe it. Nevertheless, he found his way to the palace. Royal fans know that for a very long time, King Charles has endured the physical toll of royal duties, right from when he was Prince Charles. As the heir to the throne, he performed duties delegated to him by the Queen, and when she passed, the weight fell on him. Aside from royal weight, the king has long borne something else, his past injuries and persistent health concerns, but nothing could have prepared him, the royal family, or the world for what his latest report revealed. Behind palace doors, doctors have uncovered troubling complications beyond his known battle with cancer, raising urgent questions about the king's overall condition. While the palace initially confirmed that the king had begun treatment for cancer, new medical findings have shown that his condition may be even more complex than previously disclosed. Sources close to the royal medical team have hinted that additional complications were detected during routine examinations, raising serious concerns about his overall health. What does this mean for Britain? And why was William really called? For years, the matter of King Charles's swollen fingers and hands were dismissed as a minor issue, possibly linked to arthritis or circulation problems. However, recent medical evaluations suggest that these symptoms may have been part of a larger, more concerning health condition. Some experts have pointed out that persistent swelling in the hands can sometimes be a sign of underlying organ dysfunction, particularly in the heart, liver, or kidneys. While the king's medical team has not confirmed any such diagnosis, the possibility remains that his medical challenges go beyond just cancer. These new findings have prompted doctors to act swiftly, adjusting his treatment plan to address not only his cancer, but also other emerging health challenges. Given the king's extensive medical history, including past injuries, surgeries, and underlying conditions, experts worry that his body may not respond well to intensive treatment. As concerns grow within the palace, the public anxiously awaits updates on his condition and future. When a serious illness like cancer is diagnosed, medical experts look at a patient's overall health to determine how well they can tolerate treatment. In King Charles's case, his long history of physical ailments adds a layer of concern. Cancer treatments such as chemotherapy and radiation can weaken the immune system, making patients more susceptible to infections and other complications. Given that the king has previously battled respiratory infections and has undergone multiple surgeries, specialists fear that his body may struggle under the demands of treatment. Age is another major factor in how well a patient responds to therapy. While many people successfully fight cancer in their 70s, recovery tends to be slower, and the risk of complications is higher. Additionally, doctors have noted that his past injuries, particularly his knee and back issues, could make prolonged periods of inactivity during treatment more difficult. This could lead to muscle weakness, mobility challenges, and even an increased risk of blood clots. Beyond the immediate effects of cancer, there is growing concern over what the king's latest health report suggests about his overall well-being. However, in all these, The palace has remained tight-lipped about these new medical concerns, but there are battles being fought behind the curtains. The hidden struggles behind the diagnosis. While the public only recently learned about the king's diagnosis, those close to him may have noticed signs of his health decline much earlier. In recent months, the monarch has appeared more fatigued, and observers have noted subtle changes in his physical demeanor. He has been seen relying more on aids, and his once energetic presence has seemed somewhat diminished. These changes, though gradual, may have been early indicators of his worsening health. Also, there's the issue of his sudden reduction in royal duties. While some attributed his lighter schedule to a natural transition, allowing younger royals like Prince William to take on more responsibilities, others suspected that something more serious was at play. His absences at key events and the shortened durations of his public appearances hinted at an underlying struggle, one that palace officials initially downplayed. Another worrying sign is the speed at which doctors move to begin treatment. In cases where cancer is detected early and is slow-growing, physicians sometimes opt for a watch-and-wait approach before starting aggressive treatment. However, in King Charles's case, the immediate medical response suggests that the illness was either discovered at a later stage or is progressing more rapidly than expected. The exact details remain unclear, but what is certain is that the king is facing one of the most serious health battles of his life. Beyond just fighting cancer, the king's medical team will need to monitor him for potential complications. His history of surgeries, injuries, and chronic pain issues may make it harder for him to endure the side effects of treatment. Additionally, his previous encounters with infections suggest that his immune system may not be as robust as it once was. Despite these challenges, King Charles has always been known for his determination and resilience. Throughout his life, he has endured physical hardship and personal struggles, yet he has always found a way to push forward. This battle against cancer will likely be his toughest challenge yet. But with the support of his family and the best medical care available, there is still hope that he can overcome it. As the world watches, one thing is certain: the next chapter of King Charles's life will surely be defined by his fight against this disease. Whether he emerges victorious or not, his strength and perseverance will shape the legacy he leaves behind. Yet, King Charles's current battle with cancer is not his first encounter with serious health challenges. He's had some life-threatening experiences that may now play an important role in his fight against the disease. King Charles's long history of health, struggles, and injuries. King Charles has faced numerous health challenges over the years, and while his recent cancer diagnosis has drawn significant attention, it is just one of many medical battles he has endured. Throughout his life, he has suffered from a variety of injuries, illnesses, and conditions, some of which were quite severe. Despite these setbacks, he has remained remarkably active and resilient, pushing through pain and adversity in ways that have defined his character. Perhaps the most serious of his early injuries occurred during his younger years as an avid polo player. Polo is a physically demanding sport that requires intense concentration, balance, and skill. But the dangers associated with it became very real for the young royal. In 1980, he was thrown off his horse and kicked by his pony, an accident that required 6 stitches. As if that wasn't enough, the injury left him with a permanent 2-inch, crescent-shaped scar on his left cheek. It was a painful and frightening experience, but far from the worst of what he would endure in the years to come. Another shocking incident left him unable to speak for 10 days. During a separate polo match, he was struck in the throat, which severely affected his vocal cords. For over a week, he had no choice but to remain silent, an unusual position for someone in the public eye. One might assume that after these injuries, he would consider stepping away from the sport. However, Charles was not the type to back down. He continued playing despite warnings and pressure from those around him. King Charles's stubborn determination was on full display later in 1980 when he collapsed after a game in Florida. Dehydrated and exhausted, he had to be placed on a saline drip. Even after this alarming episode, he refused to stop playing. This resilience, or perhaps we should call it recklessness, became a recurring theme in his life. But how did he handle it? His love for outdoor activities extended beyond polo. He was also an avid skier, but this passion nearly cost him his life in 1988. While skiing off-piste at Klosters in Switzerland, he found himself caught in an avalanche, one of the most terrifying natural disasters a skier can face. Tragically, his friend, Major Hugh Lindsay, a former equerry to Queen Elizabeth II, was killed in the disaster. Charles barely escaped by leaping onto a ledge. His quick thinking and composure under pressure helped him save another friend, Patty Palmer Tompkinson, who had been buried under the snow. He dug her out and kept her conscious until rescuers arrived. The event left a deep emotional scar, with Charles later admitting he had never seen anything so terrifying. His physical struggles didn't end there. In March 1998, he underwent laser keyhole surgery on his right knee. This was not his first knee injury, as he had previously undergone an operation 6 years earlier to repair torn cartilage in his left knee, another result of a polo accident. His years of playing the high-impact sport also led to chronic back pain, which he struggled with for years. To manage it, he always carried a special cushion with him during royal tours. The cushion, often a tartan one, was essential for easing his discomfort while sitting for extended periods. By this time, he had also suffered a broken rib in a hunting accident. Despite enduring so many injuries, he continued riding horses and participating in competitive sports. In June 1990, during a polo match, he suffered one of his most severe fractures. He broke his arm in 2 places and had to spend 3 nights in Cirencester Memorial Hospital. It was clear the injury was serious, but Charles, ever the stoic royal, maintained his usual composed attitude. Upon leaving the hospital, he reportedly joked with waiting journalists, saying, "You can all go home at last," as he got into his car. Unfortunately, his arm didn't heal properly, and just 3 months later, he required another operation. This time, surgeons had to take bone from his hip to aid the healing process. To further support the repair, a metal plate with screws was inserted into his arm. Even with these setbacks, Charles refused to give up his active lifestyle. In 1998, he once again fell from his horse while hunting, cracking a rib. That same year, he had yet another knee surgery. By this time, it was becoming clear that his body was taking a significant toll from his years of intense physical activity. But he showed no signs of stopping anytime soon. Then, in 2001, he experienced one of his most frightening injuries on the polo field. During a match, he was thrown from his horse and knocked unconscious. It was a terrifying moment as onlookers rushed to help. The incident didn't seem to shake him too much, though, because later that same year, he fractured a bone in his shoulder after another fall during a fox hunt. He was seen wearing a sling for days while recovering. As if that wasn't enough, just a few months later, in August 2001, he suffered yet another head injury after another fall during a polo match. He was knocked out and had to be stretchered off the field before being taken by ambulance to the hospital. It was becoming increasingly evident that the sport was taking a severe toll on him. Finally, in 2005, at the age of 57, Charles decided to retire from polo. His health concerns weren't just limited to injuries. In March 2003, he underwent surgery for a hernia. Ever the humorist, he reportedly joked afterward, "Hernia today, gone tomorrow." In 2008, he had a non-cancerous growth removed from the bridge of his nose, a procedure that was considered routine but still raised concerns given his parents had undergone similar removals in the past. In March 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, Charles tested positive for the virus. At 71 years old, he was considered high risk, but fortunately, he only experienced mild symptoms. However, he later revealed that he lost his sense of taste and smell, describing the experience as strange and frustrating. In February 2022, he caught COVID again, though by this time he had been triple vaccinated, which likely helped him recover quickly. One mystery surrounding Charles's health has been the noticeable swelling of his hands and fingers. Photos from a 2019 visit to the Solomon Islands drew significant attention to the issue, and his hands appeared similarly swollen when he met then Prime Minister Liz Truss in September 2022. Although no official diagnosis has been confirmed, doctors have speculated that it could be linked to various conditions, including heart, liver, or kidney disease. However, some experts have pointed out that these illnesses usually cause swelling throughout the body, not just in the hands. Dr. Jeffrey Linder, an internal medicine specialist, suggested that osteoarthritis could be a possible cause, especially since Charles has had a history of joint issues. Other possibilities include inflammatory conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis or psoriatic arthritis. However, these disorders are typically accompanied by joint pain and other symptoms, which Charles has not publicly mentioned. Despite all of these medical challenges, Charles has continued fulfilling his royal duties, maintaining an active lifestyle and showing remarkable resilience. His long history of injuries and illnesses highlights both his physical toughness and his unwavering commitment to his responsibilities. Even now, as he battles cancer, he remains dedicated to his role as king, demonstrating the same determination that has defined his entire life. But things may be about to change. While King Charles has faced decades of health struggles with resilience, his current battle with cancer raises a crucial question. What does this mean for the future of the British monarchy? What if the king can't continue? The line of succession. King Charles' health crisis is not just a personal matter, it has significant implications for the British monarchy. As the reigning monarch, his ability to fulfill his royal duties is now uncertain. With treatment underway, his public appearances may become less frequent, and key responsibilities will likely be handed over to other senior royals. While there has been no official suggestion that the king will abdicate, the reality of his condition raises important considerations about the future of the British monarchy. As the heir apparent, Prince William is next in line to the throne. But the transition of power, whether gradual or sudden, comes with significant implications. The British line of succession is well established, ensuring that there is no confusion about who takes over if a reigning monarch is unable to fulfill their duties. Prince William, as the eldest son of King Charles, is the undisputed heir to the throne. Behind him are his three children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, who, in every way, represent the future of the monarchy. If King Charles's health worsens to the point where he is unable to carry out his royal responsibilities, there are two primary paths the monarchy could take. The first is a regency, where a designated royal steps in to perform the monarch's duties while the king remains on the throne. The second, more drastic step would be immediate abdication, where Charles formally steps down, making way for Prince William to become king. As the natural heir to the throne, Prince William has already begun taking on more public responsibilities, a move that could accelerate if King Charles's health deteriorates. This also explains why he was called. Over the past year, William has stepped up in various ways, handling diplomatic engagements, representing the royal family at major events, and supporting Queen Camilla in day-to-day royal duties. But does this mean the Queen is idle? Not quite. She also plays a vital role during this uncertain period. Since the King's diagnosis was announced, she has shouldered an increased workload, attending public events and supporting charities on his behalf. While she is not in the line of succession, her influence within the monarchy is significant. If King Charles remains on the throne but is unable to carry out all his duties, Camilla and Prince William will likely share the burden of leadership, and William would likely carry more burden, with the king facing serious health challenges. The question remains, could the British monarchy soon see a shift in power, and how might the public respond to a transition to Prince William's reign? The natural choice. Perhaps the biggest question that has been lurking at the back of people's minds after King Charles' cancer diagnosis in 2024 is this issue of succession, and public sentiment toward the monarchy has always been a key factor in its stability, and discussions about succession inevitably bring mixed reactions. While King Charles enjoys a level of respect, his reign has not sparked the same widespread enthusiasm as his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. In contrast, Prince William is widely regarded as a modern and relatable figure who embodies the future of the monarchy. Polls conducted by the public consistently show that he is the most popular member of the royal family, with many Britons viewing him as the right person to lead the institution into a new era. His wife Catherine, Princess of Wales, is also a significant asset, helping to maintain public confidence in the monarchy. In addition, several late-night meetings have been held between father and son since the king came down with cancer. However, there are also those who question the relevance of the monarchy in today's world. The British royal family has faced increasing scrutiny, and calls for reform, or even abolition, have grown louder in recent years. If King Charles's health crisis leads to a transition of power, it could be a defining moment for the monarchy, shaping how it adapts to modern expectations. However, if all goes well with the transition, and Prince William were to take the throne earlier than expected, it would mark a significant generational shift in the monarchy. William and Catherine have positioned themselves as modern, family-oriented royals who engage with contemporary social issues. A William-led monarchy would likely focus on modernization, streamlining royal duties and maintaining a more personal connection with the public. His approach to leadership has been influenced by both his mother, Princess Diana, and his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Unlike past monarchs who maintained a level of detachment, William has embraced a more informal and hands-on approach to public engagements. Additionally, his reign could see shifts in the Commonwealth. While Queen Elizabeth II maintained strong ties with Commonwealth nations, there have been growing discussions about member countries such as Australia and Canada, reconsidering their ties to the British monarchy. William's leadership would likely determine whether these relationships strengthen or weaken in the coming years. In all these, one thing is certain. Regardless of whether King Charles continues his reign or hands over responsibilities, the monarchy is entering a period of transition. The coming months will be critical in shaping its future, with decisions made now having long-term consequences. If the king's health remains stable and he continues to carry out his duties, the royal family will likely take a gradual approach, easing Prince William into a more prominent leadership role over time. However, if the situation worsens, a more immediate transition could take place, requiring the monarchy to navigate its biggest challenge in decades. As history has shown, the British monarchy is an institution built on continuity and adaptation. Whether King Charles remains on the throne or passes the baton to the next generation, the monarchy will evolve. But its survival will depend on how well it balances tradition with the expectations of the modern world. For now, all eyes remain on the palace, waiting for the next chapter in this unfolding story. But this leaves a question. If indeed William has been widely recognized as the next in line, where does that leave his younger brother? Does he have a place in the royal family? And let's not forget that the king himself has a younger brother. Well, the answer is not far-fetched. Prince Harry and Andrew are more or less in the same boat, royal privileges gone. As earlier stated, King Charles had had several meetings with Prince William since his diagnosis, and it doesn't take a genius to know that power is gradually changing hands. However, some of the results of their meetings came as a shock to some people. Andrew, the king's younger brother, for instance, once a respected naval officer and the Queen's favorite son, got himself tangled with Jeffrey Epstein, whose criminal network implicated many powerful figures. Court documents released over the years showed lavish parties, private jets, and questionable connections. Andrew had always denied any wrongdoing in public statements, but the pressure kept growing. In 2022, he settled a civil case with Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's accusers, for $12 million. The settlement avoided a trial, but the stain on his reputation remained. When Charles became king in 2022, he initially allowed Andrew to keep some privileges, but public outrage kept growing and new details emerged. By October 2025, with investigations from the U.S. Congress ongoing, Charles acted decisively. Buckingham Palace announced that Andrew would lose all titles and honors, becoming Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a private citizen. He was evicted from his royal residence, his security reduced. The world reacted with shock, but within the family, it was just the beginning. Harry, on the other hand, who were once the Duke of Sussex representing the crown on official duties, have long since stepped away from royal life. Since his move to California in 2020, he has walked a rather complicated path with his wife Meghan, one filled with interviews, Netflix deals, memoirs, and public tension with their own royal family. While it is true that he still holds his Sussex title, his use of the His Royal Highness style was already paused. Now, it seems that pause may quietly turn into a full stop. Insiders say at a late-night meeting, King Charles has given Prince William the go-ahead to remove the title officially when the time is right. That is, when William becomes king. This move does not mean a sudden stripping of honors, but it sends a signal that the royal family is ready to act if needed. Discussions have reportedly focused on how to handle the situation without making things worse in the eyes of the public. Even now, King Charles is said to be deeply aware of how the monarchy is perceived. Public backlash is a concern, especially in a time when the royal family is already under a microscope. Acting against Prince Harry too aggressively could be seen as cold or spiteful. Instead, this quiet sanction seems like a warning shot. The family is prepared, but not eager to take further steps if they believe the Sussexes cross the line again. Interestingly, however, this isn't just about family ties. It's also about tradition, reputation, and power. The HRH titles carry a lot of weight. Losing them sends a clear message that someone is no longer part of the royal machine. The fact that senior royals support this behind the scenes shows there's a shared view among them. Harry's current path is far from the one expected of royals. For now, nothing official has been published. No public ceremony, no headlines from the palace, just whispers. But those whispers are loud enough to make a great statement. The royal family has drawn a line, and though it has not been shouted from the balcony of Buckingham Palace, it's pretty clear. The door to royal privilege may be closing, and this time it might be locked. Charles considered this purge essential. Removing Harry and Andrew from their positions, he said in a private meeting, was the correct move. He also expressed full confidence in Catherine and William, praising their judgment and loyalty. This endorsement marked a major shift, giving the Prince and Princess of Wales unprecedented influence. Linking Meghan and Andrew in this way may have been a strategy to consolidate power amid uncertainty. Charles's statement sent a clear signal to the family. William, aware of the risks Andrew posed, had long pushed for stricter action, while Catherine supported him quietly, focusing on family stability. While Britain prays for the king's health, they also hope for a great future with the heir when he becomes king. What does this all mean for the future of the royal family? Could it mark the beginning of a new era for the monarchy? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, Click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.